How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about the thing we do every time a banner is about to come out, and that is the things that you should consider before we summon on Firefly. Because yes, there are some hard hitters not only currently in the game, but also coming out very soon as their rerun. And overall, just a lot of things that we have to talk about when it comes to Firefly herself, and also all the other characters surrounding her. So before we get into all that, make sure you leave a like, comment, sub, all the different type of stuff, and also hit the bell notification too, because apparently some people aren't getting recommended my videos. I've seen in the comments before, so make sure to go ahead and do so if you're enjoying the content. But let's get straight into it when it comes to Firefly and all the characters that are around her. Now, of course, Firefly, if you haven't seen the showcase I've done beforehand when it comes to her and how she works, which yes, she is a strong freaking character and a character I absolutely love playing. She's such a cool character. She does a lot of damage, very easy to use, really showcasing off the potential of what the break meta can hold. And overall, we're just gonna see a lot of stuff when it comes to all that she's able to provide, especially when she comes out. We can do some more crazy things with her. I do intend to make some more showcases with her to be able to showcase how good she is and how usable she is when it comes to all the other teams besides the super hardcore break team that we do have, which I do think isn't as crazy of a requirement than many other teams, because when you look at it, it's Firefly, Ruan May, HMC, and Gallagher. You're asking for 2 4-stars, one of them being free and the other being on her banner. So it's gonna look really easy to be able to build her out, and she's overall just a very strong character who's able to abuse a lot of the stuff, not only in the break effect meta, but also when it comes to her speed, her action advance, all the different type of stuff. Such a good character overall. But going into the game at the current moment, we have 2 good characters out right now. We have Boohill and also Fu Xuan. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna try to play around with what I am gonna lie about, I guess you could say, but Boohill right now just isn't as crazy in my opinion. He's still a crazy character. Being able to one-shot bosses is one thing, 100%. I'm not gonna take that away from him. He's also such a weird character when it comes to how strong he is with no light cone and just giving him bare bones relics. He's a absolute monster. But when it comes to the ease of use, when it comes to being able to deal with multiple enemies at the same time, when it comes to being able to abuse a lot of the stuff when it comes to the break effect meta, and also have an innate super break, that's a lot of stuff that Firefly has over Boohill at the current moment, and ties her less down to a lot of the other units that will be coming out in the future when it comes to the break meta and what you have to put with Firefly at the current moment. I still think Boohill's a really good character, and if you haven't already picked up Boohill, I'm pretty sure you're probably not picking him up in the first place. You can just go ahead and go for Firefly. But the one character as well, the sustain that we have, that we're not going to see one for a good minute, because right now we're looking at Fu Xuan, and she's still a god tier healer. Now I have seen, or god tier shielder slash damage mitigation character, and I have seen some complaints when it comes to Fu Xuan at the current moment that a lot of these enemies, their AoE is kind of crazy now, and especially trying out the brand new MOC. Yeah, these guys hurt. Argenti hurts, and the Eternal Show, if I'm not wrong. These guys hurt a lot, and now Fu Xuan has to take away all that damage and take it all into her. So I've seen a lot of people really not like how Fu Xuan's performing at the current moment compared to someone like Aventurine. But overall, I still think Fu Xuan is still an amazing character sustain-wise when it comes to not only damage mitigation and redirection, crit rate boost, and not only that, CC prevention, which is a very strong thing in this game to have for sure. But when you're fighting titans like Aventurine, I think as time goes by, we get another sustain. Fu Xuan might lose her spot, but we'll have to wait and see. I do still think, regardless, if you were to summon for a character at the current patch, for some reason, if you haven't summoned already, then Fu Xuan would 1000% be it. I would say no doubt about it. She would be a character that I would prefer if you don't have a sustained period, because she's by far one of the best with all that she gives. And I do think that she's still going to be really good as time goes by. A really good investment character, and by far one of your most permanent solutions to having a sustain on your team for the long time that you're gonna be playing this game. Now, going into the current characters and also some of the reruns, of course, I've already talked about Firefly. Really good break character. She really abuses everything possible when it comes to being able to be in a break effect team, and also can provide some really crazy team comps, because when you use her technique, she makes everybody on the wave turn fire or turn to a fire weakness. And this also goes to her having an implant every time she does a skill as well in her ultimate, which isn't hard to do either. So there's a lot of really crazy stuff that you can do with Firefly, and I cannot wait to showcase that off very soon. Not only that, with Firefly on the first half, we also have to look at Ruan May's rerun, which I'm gonna have to say this right now, and this is Of course, for people that don't want to summon for Ruan May, or for people that don't care about meta, this isn't specifically for you if you don't want to listen to it in that way. But I do think Ruan May 100%, if you don't have her already, 100% has the priority above all else. I think Ruan May is just at such a pivotal point for this game that, like, where we're going at right now with the break effect meta, where we're going at the current moment with all these other teams coming out, Ruan May is in every single one of them. Ruan May is absolutely killing it with how universal she is in every team possible. I don't know what character in any dimension is not going to be able to use Ruan May with all that she provides when it comes to speed, break effect, damage penetration, damage boost, all that different type of stuff, a delay, a weakness break efficiency. Like, she has so much in her kit. Not only for the break effect meta, but for every team overall. She's just a god tier character, and I have no other way to say that than what she is. I think her rerun for sure. If you were to pick one character out of the four when it comes to Firefly, Ruan May, Argenti, and Jade, I would 1000% hit Ruan May up. I don't see Ruan May ever losing a spot in becoming one of the best characters in the game. She just has too much to provide, and she isn't hyper specialized to one specific team, but she does have a niche that makes her even better, which is the break effect team. So if you're looking into break effect teams, if you're looking into a character overall that you could pop on any team, Ruan May is definitely it, without a doubt. I can't question that enough. She is by far one of the most universal characters in this game, without a doubt. And if you don't have Firefly and you want Firefly, and you don't have Ruan May, I'm not going to tell you that you need Ruan May to make Firefly work. But I would 100% would like to say that I hope you would have Ruan May before you get Firefly. Just because Ruan May, besides being a really good character for break DPSs that we're probably going to see more of in the future, she's also a god tier character in every other type of team when it comes to hyper carry, dual DPS, and also dot alike. She is just that character for the game, and she's still by far one of the best supports even since her release in version 1.6. So I can't believe we're already back to her rerun, which is insane. Of course, with Firefly, which is one of her better teammates for sure when it comes to the break effect meta, and even for Boohill as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on with this patch for version 2.3. And then going to the next character, which is Jade. Jade, of course, is going to be a sub DPS slash support, which is going to be very interesting for a certain amount of characters. When it comes to her versus Firefly, I do think Jade is going to be there for the sole purpose of trying to min-max some teams when it comes to what they're able to do when it comes to having characters like Argenti, Jinyuin, follow-up attack characters, or anything else. We really have to wait and see for when we ever get to showcase these characters. We do have to wait and see how much damage she's actually doing, because she could end up being an amazing character, being able to buff one character with their speed, their damage, being able to proc Jade's follow-up attacks. But if Jade doesn't have high enough follow-up attacks and her ultimate doesn't hit that much, then she loses a lot of value, because now we're gonna have to look at, are you only good for pure fiction? Because this seems to be the curse that a lot of erudition units fall under, which is you're good for pure fiction, but you're kind of not good in anything else. And we have a new endgame mode, which is Apocalyptic Shadow, that you don't want to mess up on or be around with when it comes to having a new character and not being able to do any of the new endgame modes. That's kind of not what you want to have, either when you're building your account or when we're considering future units for your account. So Jade is in a weird spot. We do have to wait and see how she's going to look like when we showcase her, what her synergy is looking like, because she has a lot of potential characters she could play around with when it comes to Blade, Jinyuin, Argenti, follow-up characters, all these different type of characters. But we're gonna have to see what Jade puts out in terms of her own damage, because that's going to be a very pivotal portion of what she can do. Last character on the list when it comes to what's during Firefly's patch, and then we're going to be talking about the drip market, because that also takes precedence as well. Argenti and Erudition, of course, the pure fiction master. I don't think you need Argenti for pure fiction any way, shape, or form, but when it comes to MOC, he is pretty decent at it, especially when it comes to enemies that are multi-targeted, whether it be the Eternal Show, whether it be Argenti with his 4 shields and himself, or any other character that spawns in enemies. This helps out Argenti by a quick amount. And also looking at Argenti when you're using that MOC floor and you're in the second wave and it's a single target, if Argenti already has its ultimate built up, well, you just have all that damage for that one character, because the less targets there are, the less RNG heads have to spread around, and that's more damage for that one character. So Argenti doesn't take a lot of precedence because he is the pure fiction guru, I guess you could say, or master, and not a lot of people try to use them in MLC unless this is one of your favorite DPSs. We have a lot of other DPSs that do a lot better and a lot more consistent than having to rely on multi-targets or a full field of enemies that Argenti would love to have because of his talent. So right now Argenti is at the very bottom of the list, doesn't really have a crap ton of worth at the moment. I think this is just a rerun just so you can have him if you're a collector, or if you just want someone for pure fiction, just to have someone for pure fiction. I don't think his role at the current moment has much value. Sadly, he is a really cool character, so if you want to summon for him, go ahead. If not, I do think he's going to be in that section where the reruns where people probably aren't going to summon for you after a while. I think Blade is currently in that moment. I think Jin Yuin might be in that moment as well very soon. There's just a lot of characters that we have some really insane characters coming out when it comes to Firefly, when it comes to Jade, when it comes to whatever characters are coming out. They have some overtuned kits, and we have some supports that are probably going to come that are going to make those overtuned kits even more overtuned. And then a lot of the characters that came in 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, all these characters are going to seem a little bit lackluster in compared to the new characters, but that's how gacha is. That's how the lifespan of a game is. Eventually these characters will get a little bit old and they'll seem to pale in comparison to the brand new units compared to what they felt like way beforehand. And it's a weird thing to look at, but I think a lot of characters are eventually going to be in that section soon where it's going to be a little bit of their time to pass by and not be summoned for anymore when it comes to a rerun. So sadly, I think Argenti will be in that spot most likely, but we'll have to wait and see how he does in Apocalyptic Shadow to see if he gets any more worth from that. And then of course, after the reruns and also the current patch, we also have to look at what's coming next. And we see that Xiao Shou is going to be Fire Nihility. This is very interesting because not only does he look like to be a dot healer or something from his description, but he looks very interesting. Being a Fire Nihility means that he might be replacing Guanifin in the dot team. He could go in the route of the Acheron team. He could be a general debuffer, and he could also be something new, like I said, a healer for the dot team. There's just a lot of stuff that he can be as a Nihility character, and Nihility characters have by far been a very important role in the game when it comes to either being a debuffer, a dot character, or anything else in between. These characters in this path are just very strong overall. Same thing with Harmony. You can't really go wrong by getting these two paths at any way, shape, or form because they usually have some type of really redeeming quality to these characters when they're in this path. So I definitely want to see what he gets. So this is something to look out on. And then Yun Li being Destruction Physical. Really weird that we're bringing so many physical characters all out at once, but we know that usually Destruction characters are very strong when they come out, and they're usually the new trendsetter for being power crept or being very, very strong when it comes to being in the game. So we're definitely going to have to see what they pull out with Yun Li, especially being physical. We had Robin, we have Buhil, so Buhil's already having a competitor with himself when it comes to the physical typing. And then we have Yun Li, which I'm very excited to see what she's going to do specifically. And it's weird because we've seen that we've been having a lot of different DPSs that can support in their past. So I wonder if she's going to be a support. I wonder if she's going to be a full DPS. I really wonder what they're going for in Star Rail. But other than that, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know who you are going to summon on. And let me know if you're still going to be summoning on Firefly, because me, oh yeah, she's mine. I'm still super excited for Firefly. Overall, she's just a very fun character. I do have more showcases that will be out in the future. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all looked at the video. See y'all guys in the next one. Bye.